The Bucks just found their missing piece, their secret weapon that will undoubtedly make them top contenders in the Eastern Conference. And believe it or not, the mystery man's name is Gary Trent Jr.
Who?
Oh yeah, you heard me, Gary Trent Jr. Milwaukee was recently able to snag Trent Jr. on an absolute steal of a contract, and his fit on this team is a match made in heaven. But before we get into all of that, let's highlight the fact that the Bucks just had an excellent offseason addressing their depth concerns, especially considering the fact that they had next to zero flexibility money-wise. But they were still able to walk away with Delon Wright, Taurean Prince, and Trent Jr. all on minimum level contracts. Taurean Prince is a solid 3-and-D wing who will provide some much needed floor spacing for the Bucks coming off the bench. He just came off of a very productive season with the Lakers where he averaged 9 points per game and shot 40% from 3 on over 4 attempts a night. And he's a valuable asset on any contender level team. Delon Wright is a very underrated backup point guard. He's still an active and hounding perimeter defender, and he will knock down the open jump shot more times than not. In his quick stint with Miami last season, Wright showed that he can also be another ball handler off the bench who can initiate the offense at times. But with all that being said, Malik Beasley leaving in free agency to the Pistons left a glaring hole on this team. He was their best shooter last season, and the Bucks needed to replace his production somehow. And landing Gary Trent Jr. does that and then some. Gary Trent Jr. is just the elite marksman Milwaukee was looking for. He averaged 14 points per game last season, shooting nearly 40% from 3 on over 6 attempts a night. He's the type of player with unlimited confidence, and he'll never be afraid to get up his shots. That level of green light he has for himself, paired with the endless amount of open looks both Giannis and Dame will generate for him, is a lethal combination. And I expect Trent Jr. to have several explosive scoring nights next season. And on the defensive end, he'll make a worlds of a difference compared to Malik Beasley. Unlike Beasley, Jr. is an agile 6'6" wing with long arms and has been a top steals leader in the league for the past several seasons. Sure, his defensive effort in Toronto wasn't the same as it was back in Portland, where he made a name for himself as a 3-and-D wing, but that player is definitely still in him. And playing on a championship contender who desperately needs that skill set will surely bring it back out. If Gary Trent Jr. is fully bought back into that side of the ball, he'll be a major swing factor to this Bucks defense as a point of attack defender. And buying into that super 3-and-D role only benefits Trent Jr. because he just lost out on a lot of money this summer. But if he proves that he can seriously contribute to high-level basketball on the Bucks, teams will be lining up to pay him a major bag next offseason. But all put together, this new-look Milwaukee Bucks team is a serious title favorite in the Eastern Conference. Giannis and Dame will have another full year to build more continuity and chemistry together and finally perfect their two-man game. Damian Lillard himself is looking to have a bounce-back year after not fully living up to his name last season, getting back to having a lot more of his elite shooting performances and being a consistent threat on the floor each and every night. Giannis will continue to be an unstoppable force and one of the most dominant players in the game. He's still one of the league's most outstanding defenders and will have some extra motivation heading into next season after such a disappointing end to last season. Healthy Chris Middleton is the perfect complementary third scoring option for this squad. He's another complete 3-level scorer next to Dame, while also being a strong secondary ball handler and playmaker. Middleton was able to get back to form at the end of last regular season and the playoffs, and now I'm looking forward to having a full season of production from him. He is getting surgery on both of his ankles this summer, which does sound insane, but from all accounts, it seems like it's just a minor operation that will still have him ready for the start of next season. Despite his advanced age, Brook Lopez is still an extremely valuable defensive anchor and floor spacer at the center position. The only real question is how long can he continue to contribute at this high of a level before Father Time completely steps in. This Bucks team will now also have a full season of Doc Rivers as head coach to solidify his systems and philosophies even more. They were already a top defense under Coach Doc last season and should continue in that direction. It's just their offensive efficiency that needs to pick up. It'll also just bring a lot more ease and stability to the locker room, not having a new head coach in and out the door every 5 seconds. And unlike last season, the Milwaukee Bucks finally have a complete rotation of players who can all contribute at a championship level. If we're being completely honest, this current Bucks squad doesn't have a lot more time left. Their core guys are quickly aging, and luckily they were able to strike gold this summer and load up on some much needed quality support pieces. But that championship window is rapidly closing, and if they want to get another title before it does, the time is now. And where Gary Trent Jr. is concerned, this is a win-win scenario. If he fulfills his role well, he gets to be one of the most valuable 3-and-D players in the entire NBA on a team with a serious chance to win it all, and essentially secure himself some serious money the next offseason. And the Bucks get a very cheap bargain on a player who has the potential to address some of their biggest flaws from the previous season. The Milwaukee Bucks were already a very good team before the offseason, title contenders potentially, but unfortunately, they did have some glaring weaknesses. Despite that, they were able to secure the missing piece to their championship puzzle. The answer, Gary Trent Jr.